Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Quiros, and I'm here to walk you through my capstone. I'm really excited to share with y'all my passion and to highlight my argument and what my stance is. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So here's my capstone. And so my topic is the harms of legalizing the sex trade and how we need to be embracing the equality model approach. So here on the first page, I will be discussing, of course, my story, my background, my passion, why I'm even here today, and why I'm advocating for the social justice issue. Then I discuss at the bottom of my abstract. So I discuss the harmful effects of fully legalizing the sex work, and then I explore the equality model and how the equality model is the best approach when it comes to the sex trade. And so what the equality model is about is basically, so we do want to decriminalize sex workers or human trafficking victims that are in the sex trade. We don't want to criminalize them, but we do want to criminalize and penalize the traffickers and the purchasers that are involved in the sex trade. And so someone needs to be held accountable. And I feel, and I'm passionate about holding the traffickers and the buyers accountable for their actions. And then we offer exit resources to those that are in the sex trade. So that is the equality model. So fully decriminalizing the sex trade is basically, yeah, of course, we're not criminalizing the victims or the sex workers, but we're not criminalizing the buyers and the traffickers as well. So that's why that's a no-go. And if we do that, we legalize sex trade, then that increases human trafficking. And so I get into all of that in my capstone. So this is just a little bit of the abstract. Then I talk about my vision statement. And so that is the beginning page. So then we're going to go to the next page, which is how I broke down human trafficking and what that looks like. Because not everybody is going to go to the first page and see, legalizing, how the harmful effects of legalizing the sex trade. Nobody's going to know what that is if they don't know what human trafficking is. So I decided to make a page on breaking down what human trafficking is. So I think that's very important for the audience that I'm targeting. So I'm targeting, people that are about policy change, legislation. I'm targeting law enforcement. I'm targeting NGOs, government agencies. And so this is the audience I am targeting, those stakeholders that can make a change and make a difference in the community. And I think it's important that they're educated around this. And so I'm just breaking down what human trafficking is. I have a video to break it down from the Blue campaign on what human trafficking is. So there's sex trafficking and then there's labor trafficking. And then there's so many different types of trafficking. Like there's Romeo pimping, which is sex trafficking within a relationship. It could be a peer, it can be a boyfriend, it can be a girlfriend. And then I discuss there's a CEO pimping, which is where somebody in the modeling agency can lure victims into trafficking. Then there's interfamilial pimping, where trafficking is happening within the family. Then there's guerrilla pimping, which is more violent. So here's a common myths and versus facts around human trafficking. So survival is not a crime. And that's what usually happens when in the sex trade. A lot of the people that are in the sex trade are on survival, and they're coming from poverty, or they have a criminal record where it causes a lot of barriers to where they're not able to get a decent job. So we just want to be able to have all those extra resources. So I'm breaking this all down right here. Okay, so that's that page. So I'm going to the next page. Then I talk about the concepts and theories. I discuss, being, part of the social justice human rights program and what I've learned in each, in my courses, in the readings that really stood out to me. So I use that information I've learned throughout the course, being out, throughout this whole degree, what I've learned, I tied it in to my argument and what I'm standing for, what I'm advocating for, which is not legalizing the sex trade. And so this is I'm tying it all together and what I've learned in the social justice human rights And then I talk about more about the human rights and what I've learned from this program. And then I also discuss social justice and what I've also learned from this program. And then here I go. I highlight the equality model. And so this is very important that our community knows what the equality model is and how and what it stands for. So I break it down as well. And then I discuss legalizing and full decriminalization of sex work. And so I talk about my own personal experience because I have been sex trafficked as well. And I talk about, my experience with law enforcement. I talk about, the resources, the extra resources that wasn't available, that wasn't offered. So I just think it's really important for the audience that's to see this capstone of mine, that they're gonna know the background of it, the background information that they need to know around the sex trade. Okay, then I go to my argument around legalization of the sex trade and the equality model. So this is my argument that basically we cannot go forward with legalizing sex work, and that we need to embrace, and that is harmful, and then we need to embrace the equality model. So I highlight a little bit of the red light district, how it's used in different countries and it's not successful. It actually increases human trafficking. So I discuss, my argument. So I'm still working on my capstone right now. So this is going to be more, of where my argument's going to lay, and I'm going to explain all of that. This is where I'm going to discuss more of my audience. Like I mentioned previously, who my audience is. I'll discuss that more right here. And then what is the goal of my capstone? And the goal of my capstone is to highlight the harmful effects of legalizing the sex trade and how we do not want to fully discriminalize or decriminalize. We do not want to fully do that because, like I said, the buyers and the traffickers are not going to be held accountable. And of course, we want to embrace the equality model because where the buyers and the traffickers are being held accountable, but yet we are offering resources, extra resources to the victims of the sex trade. And so that's the approach we want to embrace. So, and that's gonna impact bringing down human trafficking and offering more resources so individuals in that life is not repeating the cycle. So that is the impact of my capstone. And I'll discuss that further. So my next page is articles of my lived experience. So I will this is what the audience is going to be reading, what they're going to be seeing when they're visiting my capstone. So they're going to see my book. I came out with a book last year in regards to my story, the red flags, what to look out for, how I fell through the cracks, my engagement with law enforcement, how I wasn't offered exit resources, and so forth. So I discussed that. I continue to add more articles of my story. And so that is what the audience is going to be seeing when they read my book. Okay. So, and then I discussed the Redemption House nonprofit. So Redemption House of the Bay Area is considered an exit resource. So the reason why I highlighted this organization is because it's the nonprofit I co-founded with my partner, Lisa. So we're both survivors of human trafficking, and we're a survivor-led organization. So I just want to highlight that it's very important to have exit resources when we're coming across a human trafficking victim or human trafficking survivor, anybody in the sex trade. We want to be able to have that exit resource. So my next page then I have a page where I'm talking about my works cited and all the information, all the peer-reviewed information, the articles I've gotten from my classes in this program. So basically, I just went ahead and threw it on here so everybody can see where all my resources are from. Okay. Then my last slide is my video presentation. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be able to share my experiences, to be able to present my presentation and my capstone, and I look forward to feedback. Thank you.